Have you ever wondered who really laid the foundation of modern chemistry? Before test tubes, laboratory coats, and periodic tables, there was a man working quietly in the city of Kufa in the 8th century. A man who believed in experimentation, accuracy, and observation centuries before Europe's scientific revolution. His name was Jabir Ibn Hayyan, known to the Latin world as Geber, and today, history remembers him as the father of chemistry. In this video, we're going to explore his life, his discoveries, his struggles, and his legacy. A story that begins in the golden age of Islam, when knowledge, science, and philosophy flourished under the Abbasid Caliphate. Jabir Ibn Hayyan, also called Abu Musa Jabir, sometimes referred to as al-Harani or al-Sufi, was born around the year 721 or 722 CE. His exact birth date is debated, but what we do know is that he was the son of a druggist, or attar, which gave him early exposure to herbs, medicines, and natural substances. As a young man, Jabir pursued knowledge passionately. He is said to have studied under the great Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, a prominent figure in both religious and scientific thought. He also learned from Khalid ibn Yazid, an Umayyad prince with a deep interest in alchemy and the sciences. This mix of influences, religious scholarship, aristocratic patronage, and hands-on practical learning, shaped Jabir into a thinker who combined spiritual curiosity with experimental rigor. By the mid-8th century, Jabir was practicing medicine and alchemy in Kufa, one of the great centers of Islamic civilization. He soon gained the support of the Barmakid family, who were powerful viziers under the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Under their patronage, Jabir thrived, conducting experiments, writing, and teaching. But fortune can change quickly. When the Barmakids fell from power, Jabir suffered as well. He was placed under house arrest in Kufa, and it was here, in relative obscurity, that he spent his final years until his death in 803 CE. Yet even in confinement, Jabir's pen and mind never rested. He left behind over 100 treatises, with at least 22 directly related to chemistry and alchemy. To truly understand Jabir's genius, we must understand the world he lived in. Alchemy at the time was a mysterious blend of philosophy, mysticism, and proto-science. Alchemists were obsessed with transforming base metals into gold, searching for elixirs of immortality, and uncovering hidden cosmic secrets. But Jabir took alchemy in a new direction. He introduced experimental investigation. He believed in testing ideas, repeating processes, and relying on observation and accuracy, principles that sound very familiar to us today as the scientific method. With Jabir, alchemy started transforming into what we now recognize as chemistry. One of Jabir's greatest achievements was the discovery and preparation of mineral acids. Using his invention, the alembic, an early distillation apparatus, he was able to produce acids such as nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, citric acid, tartaric acid. These discoveries were revolutionary. For the first time, substances that had once been mysterious could be isolated, studied, and used systematically. He also perfected scientific techniques such as crystallization distillation, calcination, sublimation evaporation. These are the very techniques that modern chemists still rely on in one form or another today. Jabir was not just a theorist. He was a practical scientist. He applied his chemical knowledge to everyday life, and in doing so became a pioneer of applied science. Some of his practical achievements include preparing different metals and developing methods for steel production, dyeing cloth and tanning leather, varnishing waterproof cloth, using manganese dioxide in glass making, preventing rusting of metals, gilding letters in gold, identifying paints, greases, and other compounds. He also developed aqua regia, the powerful mixture of nitric and hydrochloric acid capable of dissolving gold. And then there was his invention of the alembic, which revolutionized the process of distillation, making systematic and efficient. Through all of this, Jabir laid the groundwork for industries like textiles, metallurgy, and glassmaking centuries before Europe industrialized. Jabir was also deeply interested in organizing and classifying materials. He divided substances into three main categories: spirits, substances that vaporize upon heating, like camphor, arsenic, and ammonium chloride; metals, such as gold, silver, lead, copper, and iron; compounds, substances that could be reduced to powders. This classification foreshadowed the later scientific distinctions between metals, nonmetals, and volatile substances. Even more importantly, Jabir emphasized that in chemical reactions, definite quantities of substances are involved. In this way, he paved the way for the law of constant proportions, a fundamental principle in modern chemistry. Jabir's impact was not limited to the Islamic world. His writings, especially his famous Kitab al-Kimya and Kitab al-Sab'een, were translated into Latin. In Europe, he became known as Geber, and his works shaped the course of medieval European science. For centuries, scholars studied his texts, and many technical terms he introduced, such as alkali, entered the vocabulary of European languages and remain with us today. Through these translations, Jabir's ideas became a direct bridge between the Islamic Golden Age and the European Renaissance. Now, it's true that Jabir's vast corpus of writings raises questions. Did he really write all of them? Or did his followers add to his works over time? Some of his philosophical ideas and religious speculations have been criticized or doubted. Scholars like George Sarton pointed out that the true value of Jabir's contributions can only be fully assessed once all of his works are critically edited and studied. But what remains clear, beyond any doubt, is his towering contribution to chemistry as a science. Jabir Ibn Hayyan was more than an alchemist. He was a visionary who transformed mystical practices into a science based on experiment and observation. He was a pioneer who laid the foundation for laboratory techniques, classification systems, and chemical industries. And he was a teacher whose influence crossed cultures and languages, shaping both the Islamic and European scientific traditions. In the words of historian Max Meyerhoff, the development of chemistry in Europe can be traced directly to Jabir ibn Hayyan. Today, when we think of chemistry, the acids, the laboratory equipment, the methods, we are still walking in the footsteps of this 8th century genius from Kufa. And that is why Jabir ibn Hayyan is remembered not only as the great alchemist of the Islamic Golden Age, but as the father of modern chemistry. So the next time you hear the word chemistry, remember that it comes from the Arabic word al-Kimya, a science that was nurtured, expanded, and revolutionized by Muslim scholars, and above all, by Jabir ibn Hayyan. His story is a reminder that science is not the work of one age or one civilization, but a great chain of knowledge passed down through centuries. And Jabir's link in that chain is one of the most important of them all.